Welcome to the April 2022 Intermediate Sampler here at Close to Home in Southington, Connecticut. This intermediate sampler will meet in person this Saturday only on April 9th from 9:15 to 10 o'clock. We will only be doing in-person intermediates on Saturday morning, on the second Saturday of the month. You have until April 30th to show your March's finished block to pick up your April kit for free. Okay. Classes are forming now for mastering your sewing machine. So if you purchased your sewing machine in the last few years and have not mastered and think that you would like to attend our class, please give the store a call and we'll get you into our classes. We also have AccuQuilt Go Party and the Mondo Midi Bag class, Toys in the Attic Window Quilt class, and Iron Patty Caddy. And of course now we're offering the Kimberbell embroidery workshops, which will start next month. All these classes are being offered in store. Check our website for more information and dates, and if you need to see the project, please come into our store. We will be having a special sale for the rest of this week until April 9th is the last day. Finish the bolts on selected bolts. They are half price. And also we have a floor model sale of all our sewing, long arms, sergers, and just come in and see what we have for our floor model sale. All right. Okay, let's go take a look at our block. So this month we're going to be working with a 60-degree triangle, an equilateral triangle, where every side is the same length and every angle is 60 degrees. So what we're going to do is we're going to sew our triangles in 4 strips, into 4 rows basically. Each of these colors, the white, the dark blue, and the multi, all get cut into a 3.5-inch strip. And then we're going to use our equilateral Creative Grid 60-degree triangle to cut our triangles. All right, so I've cut just the blue strip right now. I just want to show you the equilateral triangle. It is the Creative Grid 60-degree, and each of these corners is 60, and notice that at the top of this ruler you do have a blunt end on it. So what we're going to do to cut these is our finished size is 3, so we've cut our strips 3.5. So we're going to place our ruler with the blunt side at the top of our strip and the 3.5-inch marking along the bottom of our strip. And we're going to cut 6 dark blue by turning our ruler every time, and we're going to cut 8 white out of 3 strips for a total of 24. All right, so that's all you have to know about this ruler. Basically it's going to do the work for us. So we'll cut, and you can cut your multi and your blue at the same time. You can even cut your 3 whites at the same time. I found it very helpful to put all my white strips on top of each other, right side up. Then as I was using the triangles, it was easy to see what were the right and the wrong side of the triangle, of the fabric. Thank you. We also can turn our ruler in the other direction, and we're just going to keep rotating to get 6 blue and 6 multi out of those, and 24 whites. All right, so I've kind of did a few. We're going to set them up in rows. So the first row, every single row has 9 triangles in it. The first row has 4 whites, the multi, and then 4 whites. And this is all in their directions. And the second row has 2 whites, 2 blues, a multi, 2 blues, 2 whites. And the third row, 2 whites, 2 multis, a dark blue, 2 multis, and 2 whites. And right now I am working on the 4th row. I'll finish up the 4th row for you. We'll sew it to this piece. We'll trim it down to size. So these are all finished at 3-inch finished sizes. So this will be our 12 or 12 and a half unfinished. So, but these will be wider, and the sides are what's going to have to be trimmed. All right, so there is a little trick in sewing our triangles together. And when we do this, we're going to always lay our triangles out so that the flat part is either at the bottom or at the top. Or in your case, in the video, it's at the top, bottom, top, bottom, top. All right, so by having those there, it's pretty easy to sew these two together. So when I do this, they're going to sit right on top of each other, and I shouldn't really see the blue triangle underneath the white triangle. They're the exact same size, but I do have a little bit of a showing of the tip here, and of course I'll have a little bit of the showing of the tip here. And what's important is when we sew, we come in at this notch right here, and we're going to sew 1/4 inch all the way down and come out on this notch right down here. All right, so every time they're going to sit exactly on top of each other. And as we get these sewn together, we're going to finger press them all in one direction. So I found it much easier if I sewed one strip, one whole row together, and finger pressed it and kind of went row by row. All right, so let's go ahead and finish up this row. So we'll get a little sewing in. So again, when we start, we want to make sure that we have a nice 1/4 inch. And then I'll just take this next one. And you can do them in groups of 2, and then 2s become 4, and you can continue doing your row that way. Just feed the next one, get it set up at the bottom. Okay, so these 2 I'll put back down, and I'm going to finger press them. So this one goes here, and we're going to finger press them toward this way, to your left. No, to the right, sorry. I'm looking at these and they're all going to this way. So I'm going to finger press it that way, sorry. And then this one gets finger pressed that way. So now I'm going to go ahead and sew these 2 together, and this one's a little bit different, but you're going to have that little piece hanging up at the top when you start putting a couple pieces together. And again, you want to start right in that little valley, right where the blue intersects with the white, and we're going to come out this point right here in that valley. And that should be a nice 1/4 inch seam. Keep making sure that the 2 raw edges are right on top of each other. Okay. By going in and out that valley, it really makes for a nice straight edge on the rows as you're going along. And again, I'm going to press in this direction, just give it a little finger press. I starched my kits probably twice before I cut them into triangles. There's a lot of stretch in this, and if you're not careful, they'll start bowing on you. So just be careful, give it a nice starching, and I have one left to go. And then we'll go press this and get it sewn to the next one. Again, got to get those tips lined up at the top, right on top of each other. And we're going to come right in that valley and come out this side. So I'm going to go ahead and give this a press. If you look on the back, these should all be going pretty much in the same direction. I'm just going to press them this way. All right, so give me a sec. And again, I don't want to try to just iron it. I want to kind of hold it, stretch it just a little bit to open up my seams and hold it kind of straight. And just hold those seams down. There we go. A little bit of heat in the intersections. All right, and the next part that we're going to do is, now that we have all our rows pressed, go ahead and add the last row, and I have a couple pins here. So when I'm putting my rows together, I want to make sure that I put a pin in the intersections right here where this triangle comes up at the 1/4 inch and this one. So these 2 points should match. These 2 points right here, the blue and the white, and then the multi in the dark blue. So I'm just going to go through and pin each one and hold them together, so that way you get some nice intersections. So I look here. It's hard with the white. You're like, who cares? It's okay. And put it right here in that point. And once I have that intersection, I can go ahead and put a pin right in front of it. Okay, we'll do the next one. I look for that little point. Right about there. And here. And again, give it a pin right in front of it to hold it in place. And the last one. All right, we're going to go over, sew this, match up the last triangle. Remember, all the triangles sit right on top of each other. Pull that pin right before you get to it. And seams open, just because there's a whole lot of bulk coming into the intersection right here. So when I go to press these, I've pressed these open. So let me go ahead and press these, and I'll show you how to trim it down to a 12.5-inch block. So let's go press one more time. So I kind of start opening them at the major intersections and just kind of finger press my way back. Okay, just kind of hold them open a little. It's not really. All right. Just open that up. Give that a little press open. Oh well, we'll just go like that. All right. Bring it back over. Now we're going to grab our 12.5. So Creative Grid has a 8.5-inch equilateral 60-degree ruler, and they also have the 12.5. Either one will work. This one will just obviously give you a 12-inch finished triangle. And so we're going to use our 12.5-inch ruler, and we have 12.5 from this point to this point. Okay, that should be 12.5 because these are all 3-inch. But what we don't have is 12.5 this way. So from the center mark, we can use this line and the center mark and measure over 6 1/4. Okay, so we can put this on, measure over 6 1/4, which if I use my white line on the Creative Grid ruler, do you see the bullseye there? This is a 12.5-inch ruler, so it's already marked at 6 1/4 for me. If your ruler does not have a marking, all you have to do is go 6 1/4 from center. All right, that's 6 1/2, but that's 6 1/4, right where the white line is. So this is pretty squared up. It's along the top and the bottom, and I'll go ahead and trim that. All right. So what I did on mine, now that your block is done, go ahead, it's a 12.5-inch unfinished block. I thought, come on over, Heidi. I thought that there might have been just a tad too much white between my border. If you've done the borders, there might be a little bit too white for your liking. So what I did was I took a 1-inch by 12.5-inch strip of fabric, and again, this could be any color. This is not in your kits, but I just thought it might have added a little bit of pop to the block. This is what's called a flange. I'm going to go back and I'm going to top stitch this with green thread just to hold it down. It's not sewn in except for the one seam that is sewn between the border and the block. But I will go back and stitch this down. So I ironed it, pressed it in half, and all you're going to do is you're going to baste it around your block. So you're going to start up here, right up in the corner, and you're going to baste it a very, very scant 1/8 of an inch right along the edge, a nice big basting stitch all the way across. And you're going to do all 4 of these, all raw edges to the outside, and you're going to baste each one. And it's going to become a new block with this flange on it. Then you're able to go ahead and sew it into your borders at 1/4 of an inch and you won't see it. The only issue that I think, that I really don't like about it is it does cut off my points a little bit on the sides. But other than that, I think it just kind of breaks up the white a little bit more. And looking forward to seeing what you do with the flange if you decide to do it. And don't forget, bring your March finish block in by April 30th to get April's kit free. All right? Take care. Thanks for watching.